All right, let's get right into it. We are about to tear down everything you thought you knew about building wealth. We're going to replace it with a brand new system, one that's borrowed not from some dusty old finance textbook, but from physics and information theory. Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if the mental model you use for your money, chasing a higher salary, making budgets, trying to find that one hot stock, what if that whole system is actually designed to keep you stuck, to keep you on a treadmill, running faster and faster, but never actually getting anywhere? Well, we're going to explore that. And to see just how broken the old rules are, we've got to start with a story that absolutely demolishes the biggest lie we're all told about money, that you need to earn a huge income to build serious, life-changing wealth. I want you to meet Ronald Read. This guy lived a quiet life in Vermont. For 25 years, he worked at a gas station, and for another 17 after that, he mopped floors at a JCPenney. He was, by every measure, a humble man with a humble job. And when he died, he was a multimillionaire. So what was his secret, his strategy? It was so simple it's almost insulting. He just lived way below his means. He took his tiny paychecks and consistently bought shares in solid blue-chip companies, the ones that pay dividends. And then, and this is the most radical part, he did absolutely nothing. For decades, he just let those dividends reinvest and compound year after year after year. When he passed away back in 2014, his estate was worth $8 million. This wasn't a lottery win. It wasn't some secret inheritance. It was all built from decades of quiet, disciplined inaction. He's living proof that the system for building wealth really works, just not in the way we've been told. And Ronald Read's incredible story reveals the one true secret. He understood, maybe better than anyone, that the most powerful part of the wealth equation isn't how much you earn. It's not even your investment returns. It's your savings rate. It's that gap, that space you create between what comes in and what goes out. That is where compounding is born. So, if a janitor can pull this off, why do so many people who earn way, way more struggle their whole lives? Well, it's because the operating system we're all using to think about money, it's fundamentally broken. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, imagine two different investors. Let's call them A and B. Individual A invests 2,000 euros a year, but only for 10 years, from age 25 to 35. So in total, they put in 20,000 euros, and then they stop. Individual B starts later, at age 35, and invests that same 2,000 euros a year, but for 30 straight years. They put in 60,000 euros in total. All right, so who wins? Who comes out on top by age 65? I mean, your gut, your logic, everything is screaming it has to be individual B, right? They invested 3 times more money over a much longer period. It's a no-brainer. But it's not. The answer is individual A. And look at this, it's not even close. Just by starting earlier, A's much smaller investment had more time for the magic of compounding to work, and it absolutely crushed B's much larger later effort. So 10 years of early action beat 30 years of hard work. Why does our brain get this so wrong? It's because we're all wired with what you could call a linear accounting brain. We think about money with simple addition and subtraction. Income minus expenses equals what's left over, right? But in that model, there's no variable for time. Time isn't a catalyst, so every month, every year, you're basically starting from zero again. There's no momentum, no acceleration. You're just running in place on a financial treadmill. So to fix this, we need a totally new mental model. We've got to stop thinking like accountants and start thinking like chemical engineers. It's time to build a wealth reactor. The core concept here is something called financial autocatalysis. Now, in chemistry, this is a reaction where the thing it produces is also the thing that speeds up the reaction. It feeds itself. And in finance, it's the same idea. Your investment returns aren't just profits you take home. They are new catalysts, new workers that join your original money to make future growth happen even faster. It creates this incredible self-amplifying feedback loop. And in this reactor, it has 3 main parts. First up, you have fuel injection. That's your savings rate. It's the raw material you're constantly feeding into the system. Second, you have the fusion reactor itself. This is your systematic, passive investing. You're not trying to pick winning stocks, you're just plugging your money into the entire global economic engine. And third, you need a navigation interface, a simple dashboard that tracks your net worth. That's it. That's the one number that tells you if your reactor is working. And what's the goal of this whole reactor? It's to reach what we can call financial escape velocity. And there's a simple formula for it. This right here turns that vague, fuzzy dream of financial freedom into a concrete, solvable engineering problem. When your portfolio value hits 25 times your annual expenses, your reactor has, in theory, become completely self-sustaining. You've broken free. Okay, so that passive reactor is amazing. It's powerful, it's built for stability, it's built for the long haul. But what if you want to speed things up? What if you want to accelerate the reaction? For that, we need to add another layer. What if you genuinely have an edge? A real, quantifiable insight into an investment, and you want to use that edge to get maximum growth without risking blowing up your entire account. Well, that requires a completely different tool. And using it requires a total paradigm shift. Think about it. Most of us spend our entire lives asking, what should I buy? But the most successful quantitative investors on the planet, they figured out there's a much more important question. How much should I bet? The real secret to explosive growth isn't in what you pick, it's in how you size your position. And that brings us to this, the Kelly Criterion. This formula actually came out of Bell Labs in the 1950s. They weren't trying to beat the stock market, they were trying to solve problems with signal transmission over noisy telephone lines. But it turns out, your investment capital is the signal, and market volatility is the noise. And this formula calculates the exact percentage of your capital you should risk on any one bet to maximize its growth rate over the long run. And just look at how genius and counterintuitive this thing is. On the left, you've got a bet with a 90% chance of winning. Sounds great, right? But the payout is tiny. Kelly's formula screams at you, don't bet a single penny on this. It saves you from bad bets that look good on the surface. But then on the right, a bet with only a 40% chance of winning, but a massive 10-to-1 payout, and Kelly says go big. Bet 34% of your capital because that insane reward more than justifies the risk. It's pure math. So let's put all of these pieces together now. When you combine that patient, powerful engine of autocatalysis with the aggressive, mathematical precision of Kelly's logic, what you get is a completely new operating system for wealth. In this new system, your job is no longer to be some kind of prophet trying to predict the future. No, you are a chemical engineer, carefully designing and fueling your wealth reactor. And you're also a casino manager, not a gambler, a manager, using pure math to size your bets based on a quantifiable edge. Your entire focus shifts away from finding the perfect stock and onto optimizing just two things, your savings rate and your bet size. And this right here is the ultimate question of this entire framework. It moves you from being a passive player just hoping things go up to an active risk manager who operates with a system. The goal is no longer just figuring out what to buy. It's about defining your edge and then finding the mathematical courage, the audacity to act on it.